For number 1, we're going to add polynomials. So the first half of this just goes over Unit 6, and then we're going to go over Unit 7 in the same document. So for Unit 6, adding polynomials, we're wanting to see, does 8x to the 6th go with any other term? Yes, it would go with this one, because they have matching exponents. So 8 minus 3 is 5. We keep the exponent the same. Then we have 9x squared, and can it go with any term? Yes. So 9 minus 4 gives me 5x squared. Again, the exponent stays the same. And then negative 7 plus 1 would be minus 6. So we're just comparing that answer to our answer choices over here. And that would be D. Okay, for number 2, I taught you guys in class 2 ways to do this. So one, you could distribute your 7x to both terms, and then distribute your negative 2 to both terms. We also used what you guys called the Punnett square, but really it's like a 2 by 2. And so we're just going to label that 7x minus 2 and x and 4. And then we're just multiplying, but adding exponents. So 7x times x would be 7x squared. And then x and negative 2 become negative 2x. 7x and 4 would be 28x. And then 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. All right, now we want to double check. Is our diagonal the same? X, yes. Okay, so we're going to be able to combine those here shortly. So we start with our biggest exponent. Then 28 minus 2 is 26x. And then minus 8. So it looks like B. Okay, the other thing is you want to remember that when we write our answer, I should have said this in number 1, we're writing it in standard form, making sure that our highest exponent is first, and we work our way down. So 2, 1, no x at all. For number 3, 4x minus 6 squared means that you're writing this twice. So it looks like this. Okay, so we're going to put that 4x minus 6 on both sides. So 4x times 4x is 16x squared. Remember, those have 1s on them, so we'd add to get x squared. 4x times negative 6 is negative 24x. 4x times negative 6, again, negative 24x. And then negative 6 times negative 6 is 36. So again, can the diagonal combine? Yes. So I would have 16x squared. A negative plus negative keeps the negative. So this would be a negative 48x and then plus 36. So it looks like we've got A for our solution there. For number 4, in this case we have a binomial times a trinomial, so this would give us a 2 by 3. Don't forget your sign, negative 4. So 3x squared times x is 3x to the third. 2 and 1 make 3. Okay? 7x times x is 7x squared. And then x times negative 2 is negative 2x. Again, that is just like taking x and distributing it to each one of those terms. We would get this right here. Okay? Now, if I distribute negative 4 to each term, that's exactly what we would get here. So negative 4 times 3x squared is negative 12x to the second power. Negative 4 times 7 is negative 28. Bring the x down. And then negative 4 times negative 2 is 8. So now, check our diagonals. Do they match? Yes. Yes. Both have x's, both have x squareds. So starting with the biggest exponent, we've got 3x to the third. Negative 12 plus 7 is negative 5x squared. Negative 28 and negative 2. Because they're both negative, you are adding and keeping it negative. Then lastly, we have positive 8. Okay, so we've got 3x to the third minus 5x squared minus 30 plus 8. Yep, has to be C. Okay, for number 5, we are dividing and subtracting exponents. So divide 36 and 6, we get 6. Subtract 8 and 2, we get x to the 6th. Negative 12 divided by 6 is negative 2, and 6 minus 2 is x to the 4th. 24 divided by 6 is 4, and 4 minus 2 is x squared. So 6, negative 2, 4, our exponents all match, so it's got to be B. For number 6, you take this monomial, this one term, and we divide it, and we would get 24 divided by 3 gives me 12. Oh man, this is supposed to be a 12 right here. So let's go ahead and change that to a 12. So 12 divided by 3 is 4, and then 3 minus 2 is x to the first, or just x. You can put a 1 there if you really want to. Negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. And when it's 0, you do not write the x. And then 18 divided by 3 gives me 6. And 1 minus 2 gives you negative 1. Okay, well, we can't have a negative exponent. So this part you bring to the bottom of the 6, changing it to a positive x to the first, or just x. So when I compare it here, it's got to be D, because we have the same 4x minus 2, 6 over x. So make sure you change that to a 12 right there, okay? All right, almost done with the Unit 6 part. All right, so number 7 says find the greatest common factor. Okay, so the greatest common factor of 15, 9, and 45. Well, I know that 9 can go into 45, but it can't go into 15. So if I think about 9, the only other number that goes into 9 would be 3 or 1. And I'm not going to use a 1, obviously. I can see right here I'm going to use 3 or 6. But I am going to say 3. 3 can go into everything here. Then I look, do I have an x in every term? Yes. If so, what's the lowest x? And that would just be x. So I am looking for a 3x. So it's going to either be B or D, okay? So now, when I write this, I put my 3x on the outside, and then parentheses where I divide and subtract exponents. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. 3 minus 1 is x squared. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 2 minus 1 is x to the first. And then 45 divided by 3 is 15. 1 minus 1 is 0, so I don't write that down. And if I compare that, it is D. Okay, number 8, factor. This is x factor with bottoms up, because that first number is bigger than 1. We have to do x factor with bottoms up. Okay, how do we do that? We would go with the first number times the last number. So 2 times 28 gives me 56. And we're trying to get to 15. So if you have your pink factor sheet still, okay, we would go to 56, which is right here, and we've got all of these things here, all of these factors of 56. So which one of these can add to make 15? And that would be 7 and 8. So I would put 7 and 8. Okay, I also know that everything here is going to be positive because everything in the problem is also positive. So then I would say x plus 7, x plus 8, but because this is with bottoms up, I have to divide by the first number. So, can this divide? Nope. So I bring the bottom up, and I would say this is 2x plus 7. Can this divide? Yes, it can be 4. So x plus 4. So that would be C. Obviously, that's kind of tricky because it says x plus 1 here, even though you have your 2x plus 7. So make sure you read very carefully. Choose the correct one. So A to C. Okay, for 9, x squared minus 144. This is where we did like the square roots. So we set it up with 2 sets of parentheses. We said the square root of x squared is x. X times x is x squared. The square root of 144 is 12. Okay, but 12 times 12 gives you a positive 144, and we have a negative. So we got to do a positive and a negative. So a positive times a negative gives you back to negative. So if I check my list here, I've got C is my correct solution. So there are 9 questions over Unit 6. I'm going to do a second video for Unit 7 review, and then you guys can do your practice.